Long before most people learned the details of the Isabella Guzman case, they knew her smile, the smirk, the glance toward the cameras. The moment she pointed at her eyes inside a Colorado courtroom while facing charges for killing her own mother. Years later, those clips exploded across social media. Millions of people watched them. TikTok edits appeared everywhere. Songs like Sweet But Psycho played over courtroom footage. Comments praised Isabella's appearance. Others described her as fearless, iconic, or completely unbothered. Slowly, a disturbing transformation took place. A young woman involved in one of Colorado's most shocking murder cases became an internet celebrity. But the viral version of Isabella Guzman left out something important. A woman was dead. A family had been destroyed. And the behavior being celebrated online may not have been confidence at all. It may have been severe mental illness. The internet often reduces complicated tragedies into short clips that prioritize entertainment over understanding. In Isabella's case, many viewers became fascinated by the killer while forgetting the victim. Psychologists have long studied a phenomenon known as hybristophilia, attraction toward violent offenders. Social media has amplified this tendency dramatically. The criminal becomes the focus. The victim fades into the background. Millions remembered Isabella's smile. Far fewer remembered the name Yoon Hoi. She was not a character in a viral video. She was a mother, a wife, and a human being whose life was taken in a horrifying act of violence. The deeper tragedy is that Isabella's behavior may have been misunderstood from the very beginning. Because according to psychiatric experts, she was not simply acting strange, she was losing her grip on reality. To understand what happened, we need to understand schizophrenia. For many people, schizophrenia is one of the least understood mental illnesses. It is not multiple personalities. It is a severe psychiatric disorder that alters a person's perception of reality. It can produce hallucinations, paranoia, and deeply irrational beliefs that feel completely real to the person experiencing them. Psychiatric evaluations later concluded that Isabella suffered from paranoid schizophrenia and was experiencing severe psychosis during the period leading up to the murder. One detail reveals just how far her illness had progressed. The name Cecilia. According to psychiatric testimony, Isabella believed her mother had been replaced by an imposter named Cecilia. To most people, that sounds impossible. But psychosis often creates realities that feel more convincing than the real world. In Isabella's mind, her mother was already gone. The woman standing before her was not Yoon Hoi. She was a dangerous imposter pretending to be her. That belief changes the way many people view the case. Because according to her delusions, she was not killing her mother. She was eliminating a threat. She believed she was protecting others from danger. The tragedy is that the danger existed only inside her mind. This also helps explain the courtroom footage that later became viral. Many people interpreted Isabella's smile and strange gestures as arrogance or manipulation. But severe psychosis can alter emotional expression. People may smile at inappropriate moments, laugh during stressful situations, or react in ways that seem disconnected from reality. What appears cold or calculating may sometimes be a symptom of illness. That does not erase responsibility, and it certainly does not erase the suffering of the victim. But it reminds us that not every disturbing behavior comes from cruelty. Sometimes it comes from a mind that can no longer distinguish reality from fantasy. The most heartbreaking aspect of this case is that warning signs appeared long before the murder. Family members noticed changes. Conflicts became more frequent. Threats emerged. Police became involved. Yet nobody fully understood how dangerous the situation had become. Only hours before the attack, officers had responded to concerns at the family home. From their perspective, the situation appeared calmer. The immediate crisis seemed over. But psychosis does not disappear because someone appears quiet. Mental illness can hide behind moments of apparent normality. One of the saddest missed opportunities involved Isabella's biological father. After tensions escalated, he sat down with her and tried to talk. He spoke about respect, responsibility, family. When the conversation ended, he believed he had reached his daughter. He thought she understood. He thought things might improve. But schizophrenia had already moved beyond the reach of ordinary conversations. Logic was competing against delusion, and delusion was winning. Then came the violence. The attack itself remains difficult to comprehend. Later reports indicated that Yoon Hoi suffered approximately 151 stab wounds. The number is staggering. In criminal psychology, such extreme violence is often described as excessive force. When family members become victims, That level of force frequently reflects intense emotional or psychological disturbance. In cases involving psychosis, the attacker may be responding to a perceived threat that feels absolutely real. The person is not reacting to reality. They are reacting to a terrifying delusion. Inside the bathroom, Ryan Hoy desperately tried to help. He heard the sounds of violence. He saw blood. He called emergency services. During her final moments, Yoon Hoy reportedly cried out the name, Jehovah. It was a final plea for help and comfort. Moments later, Isabella emerged from the bathroom. She said almost nothing. The contrast remains haunting. One woman fighting desperately to survive, the other trapped inside a reality nobody else could see. The bizarre nature of Isabella's condition became even clearer during her interrogation. Detectives attempted to confront her with evidence, photographs, witness statements, facts. But there was a problem. Traditional interrogation methods assume the suspect and investigators share the same reality. Isabella did not. She repeatedly insisted that she was not Isabella Guzman. She claimed her name was Samantha Gonzalez. She denied her identity. She denied recognizing her own family. Even when her father identified her, she remained convinced that everyone else was mistaken. To investigators, this looked like denial. To psychiatrists, it looked like severe psychosis. She appeared to genuinely believe what she was saying. The detectives were trying to break through a false story. But there was no story. There was only delusion. Years later, a different question emerged. What happens when someone recovers from a mental illness that contributed to a horrific crime? After years of treatment, Isabella showed significant improvement. Medication reduced her symptoms. Therapy helped her reconnect with reality. She completed educational programs and eventually spoke publicly about her recovery. She also discussed allegations of abuse during her childhood and reported being assaulted while institutionalized. These claims added further complexity to an already tragic case. But recovery creates difficult ethical questions. If someone commits a terrible act during a psychotic episode and later becomes stable, how should society respond? Mental health professionals focus on treatment. Families focus on loss. And sometimes those goals collide. For Ryan Hoy, no amount of treatment can bring back his wife. No diagnosis can erase what happened. No psychiatric explanation can remove the pain. His grief exists alongside Isabella's illness. Neither cancels out the other. And that may be the hardest truth in this entire case. Today, millions recognize Isabella Guzman's face. They remember the viral videos, the courtroom footage, the smile, the memes, but far fewer remember Yoon Hoy. That imbalance reveals something troubling about modern culture. We often become fascinated by offenders while forgetting victims. We discuss the person who committed the act while overlooking the person who suffered it. The final lesson of this case is not simply about crime. It is about prevention. Psychosis rarely appears overnight. Warning signs usually emerge long before tragedy. Families notice changes. Friends notice changes. Communities notice changes. The challenge is recognizing when those signs represent something far more serious than teenage rebellion or difficult behavior. Because sometimes the difference between a troubled teenager and a psychiatric emergency can be the difference between life and death. In the end, the Isabella Guzman case is not a story about a viral smile. It is a story about untreated mental illness, missed opportunities for intervention, and a family shattered by a tragedy that might have been prevented. And above all, it is a reminder that while the internet remembers the killer, true justice requires us to remember the victim.